Welcome to another video, A Walk with Phil, and I'm here in West Bromwich. Bit of an unusual one today because I'm going to take you around Heath Lane Cemetery. It's only going to be a short walk around. I'm not really going to take you all over the cemetery because it is quite a big place. But what I'm looking for, there's three particular graves that I'm interested in, and I'm not too sure exactly where they are, but if I keep looking I'm sure I'll find them. So let's see what we can see here in Heath Lane Cemetery. There's two entrances into the Heath Lane Cemetery. This is the main one, which if you look ahead is down Vicarage Road there, and Heath Lane is ahead of me going from left to right. But this is the main entrance to this cemetery, and just here used to be the lodge. It's still the lodge in as the building is the lodge, but you can see now it's just quite different from when I remember the lodge. I'm sure it was black and white Elizabethan type building, but I think it's a private building now. I think it's rented from the council. And if we look over here, just as you come through the gates, there's this war memorial, this cross here on this base. That's been moved a couple of times. It was originally erected, I believe, outside the Victory Club, as it was once called, which was up the top part of the High Street, the upper High Street, as we're going towards Birmingham Road. It was outside the club, and the club went bankrupt, and so they didn't know what to do with this cross, so it was picked up and moved to an island in Tantony, in Shaftesbury Street. That area got bombed during the Second World War, and the cross was moved from there then and placed here in Heath Lane. So what we'll do is walk straight ahead and looking around us to see if there's anything interesting catches our eye. As you can see, a lot of old graves there to my left, and you'll see here to the right also ahead of me there's lots of stones, headstones have all fallen, tipped over, graves are sunken. There's a lot of that you'll see here in this old part. And this is the first one, I think, this particular grave here. This is the grave of Reuben Farley. People of West Brom know of Reuben Farley simply because he was the main philanthropist of the town, and he gave the land of Grits Green Park, Farley Park, to the people of that area. His grave is here, just more or less as you come through the main gates. It's a granite edging which says Reuben Farley, born January the 27th 1826 and died in March the 11th 1899. And if we just go a little bit nearer, you can see there's a small plaque in the corner which reads Reuben Farley, 1826-1899, first and 5 times Mayor of West Bromwich, with a large cross in the centre of his grave. And there's a lot of this green marble effect stone that's scattered on top, but because I've got all the autumn leaves lying on the top, it's taken away the effect of what this grave would probably look like. So there you go, there's Reuben Farley. He did a lot for West Bromwich. The clock in Carter's Green is a commemoration to him, as you probably know. We've also got 1 or 2 roads named after him. And we also have here, I think this is the one, it's not very imposing, it's just a plinth really, with a stone on the top, plaque on the top reading dedicated to John Wesley Woodward. cellist who went down with the Titanic playing Nearer My God to Thee, April 15th 1912, aged 32 years. You probably have to zoom in a little bit. It's very fading again now, but there's just here is the outline of the Titanic and the outline of his face just there in the corner. And he's not buried here, it's just a commemoration. Okay, there are some flowers that's been put at the foot of the plinth. So I think he had some John Woodward had some ties to West Bromwich. Maybe he lived in West Bromwich, but I also understand that in the graveyard somewhere, in the cemetery somewhere I should say, there are relatives of his that are buried here. Okay, so that's not bad. I found there's two things there I wanted to find. I found them, and also of course the war memorial, so it's three really. Yeah, this is the children's section of the cemetery. Always a sad part. There is just one more memorial I want to look at. But this being a cemetery, people obviously are buried here, and their ashes also can be buried here, as opposed to a graveyard, where a graveyard is attached to a church, and only people are buried in a graveyard. So there's the distinction between a cemetery and a graveyard. But also different types of cemetery. We've got the public cemeteries such as this, there's private cemeteries which are privately owned and not open to the public. I think there's veterans cemeteries or something like that, where cemeteries for those who were killed in action. Although I understand there are some Commonwealth graves here in this one. So you can see here now a lot of the graves here are old, deteriorating badly. And you can see far into the distance old graves there. Well, all you hope for in a cemetery is it's a dignified place where the area is clean and well maintained. There's one or two people who have expressed concern as to how poorly maintained this cemetery is, but what doesn't help, I suppose, is the old stones, the old graves that are falling into disrepair. It does give that feel of the place looking neglected. But so far it doesn't look too bad. Just here to my right is the cemetery office and the yard. Okay, let's just show you this down there. There's some signage which says please do not park on lawn areas. These look much newer over this end. There's not many benches I've noticed that you can sit. Now just round about here somewhere there used to be a chapel, but the chapel doesn't appear to be here anymore. I'm not sure when the chapel was removed. But I don't think there's a chapel here now. It used to be split into two. There was the nonconformists, such as the Quakers, Baptists, Methodists, and another part of the chapel which was for the Church of England. But doesn't look like, as I say, doesn't look like it's there is one here now. A memorial I was going to show you. It's the pauper. It's the pauper's one, and it commemorates all those who used to worked in the workhouses, and they were buried in unmarked graves. So we'll just try and read the plaque for you. You might have to zoom in on this, but the plaque says this memorial stands in recognition of the people who passed through the workhouse system and to the memory of all those buried unmarked in paupers' graves, erected by the Pauper Memorial Committee and West Bromwich History Society, 2008. Okay, so there you go, and there's plenty of flowers around the base of the Pauper Memorial. A fitting tribute, one would say. There's the second entrance to the cemetery. Just beyond those gates is Walsall Road that will take you into Stone Cross. So we'll just go back down to the end here and we'll just pan around the other parts of the cemetery for you, so you can see what a large area this cemetery covers. And there still looks as though there are plenty empty spaces for many more burials to come. You can see right over there. This is a slightly unusual cemetery in as much as that you don't see them very often, but this cemetery is a walled cemetery. A wall does separate the living from the dead. So yeah, you don't see too many of those, and many of the cemeteries you see around the Black Country are, some maybe a bit of fencing, but I haven't seen one with a wall all the way around. Okay folks, it was only a short walk around Heath Lane Cemetery, and yeah, it's peaceful, it's quiet, plenty of trees here. It's looking very, very autumnal. As we move towards winter now, you'll feel the nip in the air. But as far as I could see, the Heath Lane Cemetery is not too bad. As I said earlier, I think it's the neglected gravestones that give that feel of it being not maintained. But I'm not sure what the council can do about that. But anyway, we found what we was looking for, and if you like the video, hit the like button and also hit subscribe and hit the notification bell for future videos, and I'll see you on the next one.